One.
Those Were the Days is filmed before a live internet audience.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Those Were the Days, the show that's taking you on location to some of the oldest spots in old TV. Maybe this is one of the oldest spots in old TV. Who knows? But I can't take you there without the wonderful family of podcasters that I have here, this little bunch. Here's the story of a man named Travis.
All right. I practiced this one a lot, so here we go. You ready?
And he's bringing up his very lovely Audie.
Here's the story of a little podcast where we talk about TV every week. 3 guys and a girl. No pizza place yet. We'll hit that goal eventually. That's as far as I got writing my intro. That's it. My cleverness ends here. No, seriously, I'm done.
And finally, here's the story of a lovely Amy.
You know, guys, I don't understand why Native Hawaiians are so eager that tourists stop going there. I don't understand what their problem is. I just don't get it. I don't get it, guys.
Oh, well, we might tonight. Yep. Together we become Those Were the Days. Yes, we are a blended family of podcasters from all corners of the internet who have come together to basically chat about TV with each other, which I think is just a prerequisite for being a podcaster in general, is to pick a topic, probably a movie or a TV show, and talk about it. But we do something different around here. We talk about really old TV. This is your number 24 best old TV podcast after all, according to a list somewhere. So we're talking about the Brady Bunch tonight, which I am very excited about because the Brady Bunch was a show that I watched on Nick at Night, of course, a bunch of times. And I remember going to the first exposure to Brady Bunch for me was the movie that came out in 94, I think, maybe somewhere around there.
95.
Yeah.
94, 95. Went to see it at the theater. Just because that's what you did when you were a kid. You just went to the theater every Saturday because it gave your parents a nice 2 hours of quiet time where they didn't have to think about where you were. And I loved it. I thought it was great without any context. But then I got to see the show and I watched every episode. In my humble opinion, it's far superior to the Partridge Family. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. But I would like to know if y'all are dying on any hills about Brady Bunch. We'll start with Audie.
Yeah, for me, I know the Brady Bunch more from the movies than anything. That's my most exposure. So it was weird watching. This is the first time I actually intentionally sat down and watched an episode of the Brady Bunch. So it was funny to watch it without the slapstick poking fun at it that they do with the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that family but in modern times, and this is just it's current for them, so it was funny to watch it that way. But so this was fun I knew the Brady Bunch existed. It was one of those shows that was on TBS all the time with everything else. I remember it from that. But it was fun to actually sit down and watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Travis.
I definitely remember watching the Brady Bunch. I watched the show before the movie. I played reruns somewhere. I don't even remember where, but I definitely remember it. You kind of couldn't escape it. The whole opening sequence is iconic.
Oh, yeah.
And I never disliked it, but it wasn't a thing I flocked to. It was just sort of, it was on, I watched it. I will agree it's better than the Partridge Family. So you're not wrong there. Then I do remember the movie. They made a sequel. I never watched the sequel. I remember the movie and somewhat enjoying it. I wouldn't call myself a huge Brady Bunch fan, but I also don't despise the show. It was good.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think the sequel was actually based on this Hawaii trip. Because they went to Hawaii and there was some shenanigans. As always, there's a lot of weird, but it's very adult movies that were different than the show in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you, Amy? This was a network television show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I think because we for sure watched Brady Bunch, and I think it like wherever we were watching the monkeys, I think the Brady Bunch came on right after.
Mm,
And so
That
we would
sounds
just
right.
like watch it. You know what I mean? Like it was
sure.
not what we were there for, but we were
Mhm.
gonna watch it.
Mm.
So I definitely watched quite a bit of it growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember like huge amounts of it specifically, but you know, it all blends. It's
Oh,
fine.
for sure. This show, it's funny you mentioned the monkeys because Davy Jones did do a cameo on an episode of the Brady Bunch and then
Mhm.
reprised that same cameo in the movies that came out in the 90s. And when I say
Amazing.
the movies, when we're talking about the movies, if you weren't aware, there were like these basically spoof satire movies of
Mhm.
the Brady Bunch that were made starring Gary Cole as Mike Brady and Shelley Long as Carol Brady, which may be the greatest casting choices in the history of cinema. Like, that was really
Pretty
good.
much.
They
Real good.
nailed it, 100%. And those movies were pretty great, but they were definitely poking fun at the Brady Bunch overall. It was
Right.
the family of the late '60s brought into the '90s. Everything was modern but them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a fun joke, and it worked in a lot of ways. There's plenty of stuff to laugh at, but that's what we're referring to because there were Brady Bunch sequel movies after the show was canceled that were made for television, where the
That's true.
Bradys get married and Alice marries the butcher, Sam the Butcher, and all this kinds of stuff. So, despite the Brady Bunch only running for 5 seasons, it lived long after that. What I found interesting when I was looking up trivia on the show as a whole is it ran for 5 seasons and never once did it break the top 30 Nielsen ratings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
Wow.
crazy.
isn't that nuts? Like it is a cultural mile point. I don't know. I'm losing my words, but it's a
Yeah.
cultural thing. Everybody knows about it. How could it have not broken the top 30 Nielsen? But it never did. Um, People watched it. I guess it was one of those average shows that you just see when you see it, and you're like, "Hey, that was good. I'll watch that again." It was created by Sherwood Schwartz, who was also famous for creating Gilligan's Island. And
Mhm.
if you're watching these shows, maybe back to back or you're around them, they share a lot of DNA.
Yes, they
Mm.
do.
I don't know if it's the clothes and the fashion of the time, or it's the way they're shot, or it's the
Yes.
sound work. Yeah, I
All
mean,
of
it's
the
all those
above.
things. But there's something that distinguishes this from other shows of the time that gives it an appearance or a feel or a vibe that's just different. What I thought was interesting about the episode we're watching is there's a scene where they approach a lagoon, and that lagoon is actually the set of Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they shared the whole thing, which I thought was pretty cool. It ran from 1969 to 1974. So it's more of an early 70s show, but it was in that time where, your decades kind of blend. You're not really
Yeah.
We're not looking at pea soup green and orange color palettes yet, but we're close.
No.
Right.
Not yet, but we're close.
We're thinking about it.
We're
But
thinking
it's-
about it.
We're trying some stuff out with some sweaters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, we're looking
It
at that
is-
one half of the color wheel and going, wonder what
Yeah.
all those look
Alright.
together.
Yep.
Alright.
And,
Yeah, I
and
saw
the patterns, whatever patterns they were using, were
Oh, yeah.
just wow.
I-
They are.
I
Yeah,
have
choices.
some feelings about some of the clothing. I mean, I alternate between this is the worst thing I've ever seen and also I would like to own it. The audacity of the button fly pants in this
Oh,
show.
Oh yeah.
I was
Mhm.
like, this is like at one point, one of them has a shirt that only unbuttons halfway, but the pants also button. So it's fine. There's just a button free zone in the middle for no reason.
Greg
So
at one
good.
point is wearing what looks like should be a full body jumpsuit,
Right.
Yes.
Yes,
except that
Uh-huh.
but
it
it's
is
not.
a shirt and pants because they are just slightly different shades
That's
of
the
blue.
Uh-huh.
outfit, and it only
Yep.
unbuttons to like the middle, and then
Mhm.
there's giant buttons on the fly of the pants.
Yes.
And that shirt had a collar that would choke a hippo.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, that
Mike had the
collar,
worst though.
that collar had a collar. It was ridiculous how big the collar on Greg's shirt was.
At one point, Mike's wearing a pair of pants that I'm like, what is this pair of pants? And the next scene, I'm like, this shirt is a crime.
One of those shirts was made out of like Bible paper. Like it was just the
Yeah.
thinnest shirt I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
and like like it's one of the first scenes we see him, and he's got like giant sweat stains, and I'm like, yo, this is
Yes.
television.
I was gonna say, like
we can
so one
get the
thing
man some dress shields. We can do this.
the other thing I was thinking the whole time is why is anybody wearing sleeves and pants at
Pants.
all in Hawaii?
Dude.
This
Right?
is why the tourists can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're like velvet pants.
Yeah.
They're like
they're-
corduroy. You don't wear
Mm.
corduroy. Like if it was linen, you'd go okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like they
Linen
don't have
pants,
the
like
clothes.
All of it's plastic. All of it.
Yeah. They live in like LA or something. It's not like they don't get hot where they live. Like I don't
Right.
know how they can't understand, dress appropriately. But fashion over function,
Okay, but
y'all.
Alice had some real good numbers. Her little cover up at the beach. I was
Oh.
like, where do I get it? I'm ready.
The interesting thing is, okay, Florence Henderson and Ann B. Davis, right, as Carol and Alice. What type of an age difference do you think there is between the two of them?
Oh, max
Like-
like 5-10 years. 5 to 10 maximum.
They're like, I think Florence Henderson was in her early 40s, and Ann B. Davis is like 46, 47
Yeah.
when they're making this
Yeah,
show.
it looks like they're 8 years apart.
Okay.
It's
There you
just
go.
crazy
Good call.
because they look very different. Like hairstyles
Mm-hmm.
age you a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's like Estelle Getty was the youngest of the Golden Girls.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
but you
she
put her
had
in that old lady perm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma had it. And that's what you get.
Yeah. This is why people look older to us still. When you're looking at old TV
Right.
and you're
Mhm.
like, that
Mhm.
person is younger than me now, but looks older than me by a lot.
Yeah.
Just because of how they carry themselves and, that a giant
Sunscreen.
mustache.
Also, sunscreen and cigarettes
Oh,
go a
I
long
was gonna
way
say,
also.
yeah.
That's true.
Mhm.
I was
They
listening
took
to a
care of themselves a
podcast.
little different back then.
I was listening to a podcast today and somebody's voice was really smooth. I'm like, I know he's like 50. Why is his voice so young? Oh, no smoking.
Right.
Oh, everyone sounded old
Oh.
and crusty because they started smoking at 15 for their health. Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have much younger sounding, younger looking people as we get older,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
is all good. Yeah, the fashion of the Brady Bunch was not lost on culture either. They pretty much
No.
set the stage, and there's another thing made fun of in the '90s when we were looking back at it was that, I mean, it's just that was what it was. Those button pants. It cracked me up
I
because it's
loved
like,
it.
hey, would
So
you like to
good.
stare at my crotch? Here's some things to stare at. It's like wearing a
'Cause, I
giant
mean,
cod piece. You know?
I've owned button fly pants, but
Yeah.
that has
have
like
a
the
flap.
flap
Yeah, like a zipper.
in the
Mhm.
front.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly, like
Yeah.
a zipper. But no, like it was a choice. And they were for sure like velvet or corduroy.
Oh, definitely.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so warm. I'm like, please, it's so hot here. I can't watch
Yep.
these people.
You don't want to. You don't want your zipper hanging out where everybody can see it. Why
I
would
mean,
you
you
do your
don't.
buttons that way?
You don't.
That's true.
No, don't bring attention to it. Yeah, but if you are lost on what the Brady Bunch is because you were born under a rock or after the year 2010, I don't know why you're listening to this show, but welcome, children. The show, the whole premise revolves around a couple widowers. Well, maybe a couple widowers, a widower and a widow. At least the way the network saw it. So Mike Brady is a widower with 3 sons. He marries Carol, who Sherwood Schwartz decided was going to be divorced. But the network did not
Scandalous.
like the idea of
Yeah,
Carol
come
being divorced.
on.
This is 1969.
What are you gonna let them sleep in the same bed next?
Yeah,
Come
what is
on.
this
Yeah, right.
craziness? So Sherwood Schwartz would go to his grave believing Carol was divorced, but the network would insist that she was a widow, and then they would not address it. The compromise was that they just would not talk about why Carol was by herself with 3 kids. They would just let the audience build it in their own brain. That's how.
She was a single mother. She was never married. That's
Eh,
my new headcanon.
That's your head canon.
Mm.
There
It's
you go.
perfect.
Yeah.
It works.
There's 3 different fathers. It's great. This is great. I love this.
Absolutely. So they got. So this family gets married, and each of them have 3 kids. 3 kids with blonde hair, 3 kids with brown hair. Each from different sides of the family. What I thought was cool is when they were casting this, they actually had backup actors. So they weren't sure who the parents were going to be, but they knew they wanted the children's hair to match the parents.
Sure.
So if they had a brown-headed mom, they needed 3 girls in backup to be the brown-headed girls, and then other vice versa. So they had these blonde boys and brown-headed girls. that were in standby in case they cast actors they definitely wanted their hair to be different. That was like a key thing to the plot because they needed
so
to.
you don't confuse them. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't think that they're one family. It would be
No,
Right. Heaven forbid.
ridiculous.
Even though I can tell you, I grew up, there was a family that was in my high school. I think there were 4 daughters, and there were 2 blondes, a brunette, and a redhead.
oh wow, FedEx kid.
Natural.
Yeah,
Mhm.
natural.
That's
It's
just how
almost
it
like
went.
genetics are like
Yeah,
complicated.
somebody knows
Yeah.
how to
Right?
do those. What is it? Punnett squares? What's the thing? where
Punnett
you-
squares.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Punnett squares.
yeah.
Somebody's
It
gotta
works
figure
great on like peas
yes.
and fruit flies. Works less well on like people.
on human beings. Yeah, we're
really
apparently
funny
we're
when
different.
when our twins were born, they came out stark blonde, and everybody looked at me like,
Oh,
Pardon
I
me.
I was very blonde until like 6 or 7 years old.
Oh
and then
yeah,
my hair just went dark.
my son was the same way. He was very light haired, and now it's very brown. But it was
Mhm.
for about 5 or 6 years. It
Same.
was very light. But yeah, so the world was different back then, so we couldn't accept divorcees. So we just pretended nothing happened. What I thought was kind of cool too is that when the family came together, they wanted the family to just be a family. So there's a line in the series, I don't know what episode it is, but where Carol says the only steps in this household lead to the second floor. They never talked about being a stepmom, stepdad, stepsister, stepbrothers. They were just the Bradys.
So I have a half brother and a half sister.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl that I was friends with. She lived down the street. So, you know,
You were friends
Friends
by
by
proximity.
geography.
Mhm.
And she used to always, like, I would say something about my brother or my sister, and she would always correct me that it was my half brother or my half sister. So
Mhm.
my mother told her there's no such thing as half people. Now, she's an adult, obviously, in her 40s, like me. We have the same age.
Mhm.
She has a daughter who has a half brother. And I saw her post on Facebook talking about how there's no half people. And I was like, Ma, I gotta tell you, good work.
Nice
Yep.
job. Nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So the girls were named Marcia, Jan, and Cindy. That's in descending order of ages.
Mhm.
And then on the boys' side, you had Greg, Peter, and Bobby. And all these kids, they kind of had, it was a good age breakdown because you had the 2 older teens, the 2, 12, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And then you had like the children, the
Yeah.
little kids that
Mhm.
could get in.
You
So
had the-
you had this recipe for different styles of trouble across
Yeah,
any
whatever
given
you
episode.
wanted, you got somebody. And not
Yeah.
only somebody, you've got 2 that can get into trouble
Mhm.
together.
Yes.
It's pretty inspired writing if you think about it,
Yeah.
because you've got adults, teens, tweens, and kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then you throw Alice in there, so you've got kind of a neutral party,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like it's brilliant, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For
I
a
mean,
sitcom.
it's set kind of a recipe for future shows. I mean, I would say Step by Step emulates what the
Oh, for sure.
what the Brady
It was
Bunch
definitely-
did, but they did it in a much more modernized, loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
stories go different places. It was a little bit more. It was very 90s. So like
Yeah, it
this is
was.
very
Al-
60s. That was very 90s.
Yep.
Alice walked so Mr. Belvedere could run.
yes, that too.
Like, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of great shows could lend their creation to this show having worked and kind of figured out a
Mhm.
recipe for chaos to put on the screen.
Mhm.
One of the cool facts I found, you already alluded to this, Amy, but Mike and Carol shared a bed, which was
Oh.
revolutionary. You did not do that up to this point. You generally, if you showed a couple in a room, y'all know from watching the Dick Van Dyke Show and Lucy and all those things, they were always in separate beds.
Yeah.
Because you can't have actors. We know they're not really
Mhm.
married, and we can't be seeing them in the same. They
No,
threw all that out the window and just said, "Nah,
we'll just let
We'll
him
do it.
smooch a little bit. That's
Yeah.
it.
yeah, just a little, just a slight peck." We don't want to upset Grandpa.
Mm.
He was, even though he was a floozy in the 1900s, the 1910s. Yeah, he's still
They got
angry.
wild back then, man.
Yeah. Were you
You
around in
kidding
the
me?
20s? Yeah,
They don't want to upset Grandpa. Meanwhile, Grandpa was out setting up franchises around the country.
Yes.
Yeah. Grandpa got around, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Traveling salesman.
You knew the
that he
special
was.
knock? Yeah.
Yep. Hung his tie on the doorknob all the time. Couldn't
Mhm,
break the habit.
mhm.
So that wasn't the only cast though that we had. We did have Alice. We had the kids. We had Mike and Carol. But in the last 6 episodes of the final season of this show, they decided to introduce a new character because the kids were getting older and they needed to inject some new storylines. And that character was Cousin Oliver. Didn't you guys
Yeah,
remember
classic.
him? 'Cause
No, but I know that that's the name
Right.
of
Yeah.
the trope.
Of Cousin Oliver.
Yeah,
And
the
I know
trope
the
is
actor
Cousin Oliver. Yep.
who was Cousin Oliver because he went on to other things.
Yeah. So cousin Oliver was introduced very unwelcome, kind of like Scrappy Doo. People just did not want him there. But he was. They tried it 6 episodes. Everyone hated him. Everyone thought it threw off the vibe. You had a perfectly even numbered group plus Alice, and you turned 6 into 7, and it just didn't work. It's largely defines the Cousin Oliver effect. Is also the part of the show that jumped the shark. So it's a meme that feeds a meme, or whatever you want to say about it. But yeah, it jumped the shark. Another cool aspect of this, Robert Reed was the TV veteran of the show. He had been around and done a lot, and they wanted somebody who could do who knew TV to play Mike Brady because he's going to be your dad of the crew. But they looked at a young up-and-comer named Gene Hackman as a potential
snap.
role, which I thought was fascinating.
That's a
That would
different
have been a
show.
very different show.
Or
yeah.
or it would have led Gene Hackman down a very different path.
Oh,
Yes.
very different path.
Very different.
First of all, I cannot think of Gene Hackman without him yelling. And
Mhm.
so like Mike Brady would have been screaming at the kids
Right.
like every episode, which it's Gene Hackman, I'm for it, but like
Mhm.
also doesn't work in TV.
Yeah.
But like it's hard to divorce those two things.
He could, I mean, if you look at him as Lex Luthor and Superman, he can do screwball, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, he absolutely can.
for
Like look at him
sure.
in Young Frankenstein. His
Oh,
small
yeah.
part in Young Frankenstein is brilliant. He's funny.
Yeah.
It's very different from Robert Reed. Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know.
is.
I don't know if Gene Hackman could pull off the short shorts that Robert Reed wore in this episode.
Yes, which brings us to the episode because the opening scene does have us with the Bradys and Mike Brady's incredibly short shorts. It's like
I mean, they're not Magnum.
no.
Like, come
no,
on.
no.
They're close.
They're like ankle length compared to Magnum. It's fine. I didn't even notice.
Well,
They were
they're-
snug though.
They are swim shorts. They are very
They're
tight,
swim
whereas
shorts.
Magnums are casual
That's true.
shorts where
That's fair.
he needs
Yeah.
to make sure he's pulling them down so he doesn't fall out
To be
of
fair,
them.
I
Right.
did just purchase a pair exactly like the ones Mike Brady is wearing to go with my swimsuit for the beach. So I
course.
did. It's good.
So, I mean, but if I look like Mike Brady, maybe I would be that confident in those shorts. I don't know.
I mean,
These
yeah.
are
We're
some
bringing it
fit
back,
people.
man.
Mhm.
Pedro Pascal is leading the way with his slutty little boots. So
I
let's
have
go.
noticed. Yeah.
Bring back the short shorts, boys.
I don't think we need to. I saw a kid at
That's all we
Target.
ask.
that
We
was
can't.
like,
We can't
oof.
afford all this fabric. So
There's too many hairy legs to be doing all that. I saw a dude look like Sasquatch and his shorts were all the way up, like to his nuts. It was a lot, and I'm like, buddy.
My problem is just I have chicken legs, and so if I wear the short
Stormy
shorts, it
legs.
just
you look
looks
like
ridiculous.
Gru.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need that.
No, I'm just living in 2003 with my 11-inch long Dickies. That's
Yeah.
not. I'm still doing it. I'm not
Same,
letting them
man,
go.
you will pry those from my cold dead
Yes,
fingers.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable in them. They go down to my knees, and I'm happy. Leave me alone. Yeah, but the scene kicks off. So basically we watched the second episode in a trilogy of episodes around
Mhm.
Hawaii.
Mhm.
So if you watched it with us, unfortunately, because Don Ho sings a song in episode 1, we can't have episode 1. And we also lose our celebrity cameo of Don Ho. If you're going, who's Don Ho?
Come on.
He's who he is, man. Get on
Yeah.
it. Go get you a
Right.
7-inch. of Don Ho.
There are rules in television. If you are in Hawaii, Don Ho
Yep.
makes an appearance. If
Yep.
you are in Vegas, there are certain people that make an
Yeah.
appearance.
Depending on the vibe of your show.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're gonna have famous faces show up, and Don Ho was the famous face of the time.
Mhm.
So that's great. But yeah, so he's in episode 1. Basically, the episode 1, to sum it up, the kids find a little tiki statue. I'm gonna call it a tiki statue. That's probably horribly offensive and wrong. But we learned in this
That's what
episode
they
it's called
called
They call it they call it an idol.
an idol.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You know, we watched the Legends of the Hidden Temple. It's,
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like straight out of
This
that.
is not far from what that is. So Bobby's got it, and he's been carrying it around, and it's been causing some bad luck to occur. Things that people that have it with them, bad things are happening to them. So we're progressing that storyline along, but Bobby's convinced it's good luck. No one's put together that anytime you have this tiki idol, that somebody's going to get hurt.
So all right.
Yeah.
I want to start because the whole reason that they're in Hawaii is because a building that Mike designed is being built, and he has been flown by the company to go check it, and they paid for the family to go.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
is a nice
And
company.
that
Where
this
can I find
little
this company to
idol
work
was
for?
found at the dig site, which would immediately stop work. I mean, probably not in
Yeah.
1964 or whatever, but
not if the kids
know,
found it and didn't tell
I mean,
anybody.
yeah.
True.
But it's just
Nothing like a
Yeah.
bunch of tourists coming in to build a building
this is what I'm
and
saying.
sabotage
Just
your
dig
burial
up-
ground.
I mean,
Yeah.
we watched an X-Files where things went very differently when this happened.
Yeah.
So.
There was no ayahuasca in this episode.
Not in the Brady Bunch. No.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know.
it's-
The old
I
man they
mean,
talked to,
He was having a good time.
Yeah.
he was
He
doing
was
all right.
fine.
He was fine. He was a happy guy.
He
So
was.
they found this little idol. We catch up with him in this episode where Greg is I don't think he's in a surf competition, but he is
Yeah,
surfing.
they said he was in
competition.
the surf competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
doing great. Like, I'm kind of jealous of Greg's surfing abilities. I hope
Right.
he must
I mean, he's
live
from
on the beach of
California,
Hawaii.
so like that tracks.
They know how to do
Yeah.
it. It's in their
Yeah.
DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got the necklace on because Bobby has given it to him for good luck. So he strapped this idol onto his neck, which you probably wouldn't want to do because it could throw your balance off. I mean, it looked kind of
I was about to say, you really want to add some good weight
Yeah.
if you're gonna
Right.
surf.
That thing's going to
Really,
spin
something
around
that's gonna
and-
move around a lot and
Yeah.
really,
Knock you in the
yeah.
face. Yeah. Definitely dangerous, but he did it because kids are stupid. And that's great. So he goes surfing and he wipes out pretty bad. And if you look at the scene, it is pretty bad because there's like a piece of coral or something like right where
Yeah.
he falls. It looks gnarly. They go in, rescue the kid, and no one puts together that the idol is the thing that does it because we lose the idol. Greg had it, it's gone. I guess our episode's over. Greg's going to the hospital. No, Greg is going to visit the hotel doctor.
Right.
Did they have hotel doctors back then? Like, is the
I
hospitality?
think that was a
is
thing
something else.
back then.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
certain,
It
I mean, not
definitely isn't
probably
now.
not at your Howard Johnson's, but you know,
They weren't staying.
if your
at
a
hotels.
company-
nice hotel.
If your company
Right.
is paying for the architect to go to Hawaii and take his entire family, that hotel has a doctor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. It's like
Wild.
I wish we could have seen that because I would have loved to know what the 1960s hotel doctor would look like. But when we watched Dick Van Dyke, we had them. I'm calling the engineer and to come up and unlock a door.
Yeah.
Right?
they'll
Yeah,
lock the
yeah.
door.
Hotels have
probably
fancy
probably
stuff.
their friend David's dad. So
Yeah, it probably was.
yeah.
He seems to know everybody. That David, the young
Mhm.
David. So yeah, laugh tracks outdoors we had, which I thought was funny because we had that in Saved by the Bell too. Did we have that in Saved by the Bell? Yes, we did.
Yep.
yes,
Yeah, we did.
So one thing I liked about the details in this show is like anytime the little tiki statue came around, you heard this little theme play
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
time. Definitely a trope of 60 TV. It's like, oh, if you didn't see it, here's a little tropey theme
right.
that happens.
The
for you.
music, by the way, the music in this episode and in this show in particular is so 70s TV. It
Yep.
hurts.
No.
It is. The music is shag carpeting.
100%. 100%. So I think the next thing I have written down, I don't remember what all happened in their hotel. I think they were just talking about going sightseeing and stuff. The girls are going to do a picnic somewhere, and then the boys were going to the beach because Greg needed to needed to see some girls on the beach.
Yeah.
But before
Right,
we
he
got
didn't want to go do no sightseeing
Oh,
we-
yeah.
picnic.
left the beach the first time, Jan and the girls are picking up all the stuff, and Jan finds the idol.
That's right. She
Yes.
found the
Oh,
idol and
right,
put it in her bag. So she's got the
I
idol.
also
now.
I like Cindy being like, I'm glad Greg's not hurt more. It would ruin our picnic for tomorrow.
That was
Right.
good.
Yes.
I like that a lot. So we are tomorrow. We've got the picnic going on where the girls have gone, and we've got the
But-
boys on the beach.
But Mike has to go to work.
Yes.
This
Oh my
is
God.
nice. Man's got to go to work, and women's gonna go on a picnic. And bless her, she goes. Don't worry, honey. Someday there'll be men's lib.
Loved that. Oh, yes. That was so good.
Oh,
Oh boy.
incredible.
And then we
Love
get
it.
Greg on the beach, and look,
Oh,
I get
gosh.
it. All right,
Yeah, I
Greg's a
get it.
young guy. He's on a beach in Hawaii, but my dude,
Yeah.
get some
Right.
sunglasses.
The key is
All right.
sunglasses and don't move your neck. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, be decent.
You wear your sunglasses and you move your eyes only. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's what you're trained for. They handed to you a handbook when you turned 13 by your dad. Dad's like, look, this is how it works. No, this is gross. Like everything about what Greg's doing is so creeper.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it gets worse.
And it gets
It's
worse.
so funny.
just gets
After watching
worse.
Saved by the Bell, I was like, "Oh, Greg's going Zach Morris here. Okay, awesome."
Greg went Zach
And
Morris
yet-
and beyond.
yeah.
Mhm. And he's not good at it.
No. I was uncomfortable watching Greg try to have a conversation with a girl on the beach because he starts with a lie. Greg, my friend.
And the girl
Never.
is so oh God. This girl.
She's
I did see there was a trivia piece that talked about how a couple of weeks after this episode, there was a Hawaii 5-0 episode that had like 3 of the actors from this in it, and one of them was that girl. and- She played a character with the same name, and it's Brady Bunch and Hawaii 5-0 are 2 of the 3 credits she has.
oh
Incredible.
my gosh.
Wow.
That's amazing. She's happened to be in Hawaii at the time, and they're like, "We need you
Yeah.
to. You look
Probably.
nice. Can you be an
You're
extra?
cute.
Yeah, you can have
Yeah,
a speaking
basically.
line."
It's 2 episodes. Yeah, 2 episodes of Hawaii 5-0.
That's amazing with the same name.
Incredible.
I got to track her down. We need to talk to her. We got questions because that means she's a piece of meat for this episode. It's really shameful, and she just.
Mhm.
She has been taught like her 1960s mother taught her, like when the man wants to put lotion on you, you sit still and act cute. He could have money.
Podcast I listened to talks about how red flags weren't invented till the year 2000.
That's
so,
probably true.
you know.
No one was given any heads up that these kinds of things
Oh,
happen.
thanks. This sun's pretty bright. You're gonna need
Yeah.
extra suntan
Mhm.
lotion.
Yeah.
Ah,
But-
thanks. Oh, come
I'm-
on, girl.
I have to say though, for the show to play out the way that it did, where Peter and Bobby show up
That was good.
Incredible.
and just absolutely wreck everything Greg is going for,
Mhm.
is perfect.
They
but
wrecked
then
it, but
also apply suntan lotion to this girl.
she's... Yes.
And she's just like, "Oh, thanks, guys."
Thanks.
Yeah.
What island hospitality?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's weird.
Jeez.
No.
How did you get to Hawaii?
Run.
How did you get out of your little like
Run.
you-
Where are your parents?
Run.
Yeah, somebody needs to be watching out for her because this is the kind of thing that ends up on a Dateline episode. Like,
Yeah.
There's a reason she's on the Hawaii 5-0 episode.
Yeah.
there is. You just let random dudes come up and be like, "Let me put that suntan lotion on." It's weird. We're better than this. Come on. Peter
yeah.
Peter should know better. Bobby's he's young and stupid. He doesn't know what's happening. But Peter's getting to the age where he should be aware that this is not something you do. But that's fine because Dad's a boys will be boys kind of dad when they wanted to go to the beach.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna let that be. But anyway, this is the most awkward exchange in television so far that I've seen.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's fine. So they're talking to this girl. That was just kind of a passing thing. I don't remember if there was much point to it really, other than to have some comedy.
Yeah.
But the picnic scene we come around to, and this is where the tiki idol is
Mhm.
having its moment, and then a big old fat spider crawls into Jan's bag.
Okay.
I thought it was funny too
All
that
right.
we had this picnic just on a different beach. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's grass at
where
the beach they
else?
went to.
Right. You're gonna.
You need grass
Yeah.
for a picnic.
So there's no tarantulas on Hawaii. I mean, like occasionally, like a pet, or it might stow away.
Right.
You know what I mean? But by and large,
natively.
their big spider is very leggy and way
Yeah.
scarier. I don't like spiders. I'm very afraid of spiders. Spiders make me very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
This was the cutest spider. This I have never seen a tarantula so precious and so cute. And like there were definitely several, but there was
Mhm.
one
yeah.
of them that was just he was just a sleeky little boy and he was so cute and wave his little hands and I was like, that is
was-
not menacing at all.
That was absolutely the cutest spider this side of Lucas the spider.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And that was also part of the trivia was like, yes, tarantulas are not native to Hawaii, but it's an easy thing for the audience to get and probably for production to be able to get at the time.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
I get
Every
it.
horror
But
movie
yeah.
had tarantulas in it in the
Oh, yeah.
60s. So
Nobody's sitting there
They
going,
look-
"That's not native to Hawaii."
yeah,
Right.
and I
Yeah,
mean
they
they
look
behave
menacing.
well. They do
Yeah.
look menacing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
you
But
they're
not
put a
this
scary
little,
looking.
but not this
Well,
one.
no, not that one. No, that one was cute.
no. You put a
Um,
little pheromone on something, that spider's going to it. They're easy to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna go.
Yeah, so but you're right. It was it's adorable little fuzzy spider. But I mean, little fuzzy big spider. But it goes into the bag, and then just the best comedy I've seen on TV in a while is these girls trying to come out of the water with their flippers on, and just how ridiculous
No.
they walk. And I think Jan tries to run in the flippers, and
Mhm.
it's definitely played for laughs because no one can look cool
Right.
walking in flippers. Like it's not.
No.
there are two things you cannot do and look cool while doing. One of them is walking in flippers, and the other is drinking from a straw. You cannot look cool while
No,
you
you
drink from
can't
a
look
straw.
cool.
You
No.
cannot look cool when you walk with flippers on, with swim fins.
What
You
if you
just
have the
can't.
straw on like the side of your mouth, like you
But
know,
It's
not-
not
like,
cool though.
Still not
Like
cool.
you can do
I can
other
prove it
things
right now.
All right,
No.
show it. All right.
No, it's not
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't do it.
Can't be cool.
Man, all right. I'll never be cool. I give up.
I mean,
Same.
I regret to
same.
inform you,
I gave
the ship
gave
has
up that.
sailed.
Yep.
No,
I gave that up a long time
it's,
ago.
not,
Yeah.
it's really not worth the effort, to be
No,
honest.
no.
It's just a lot. Takes
No.
too much thought and planning. So yeah, we get the big old spider in the bag, and we have a few really good gags with this spider as Jan is trying to reach into her bag to grab an assortment of things. You know, the
Mhm.
camera almost touches
Yep.
the spider, and there's that like
That
stinger
poor
every
spider
time.
would have been crushed to death so many times.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Oh
know.
yeah, that bag was full of stuff. They get the camera. I think there's some other stuff she grabs out of her bag, but every time it's just to remind you the spider's in there. Back at the hotel, the spider gets out of her bag and into the boys' room. I don't remember exactly how all that played out.
Because she
it
gave
does.
the idol back to the boys.
Right.
And
Mm,
so
right.
because of that, that's where the spider
That's
needs
where the
to
spider goes. Okay, goes where the bad luck idol is. It's still a lucky
Mhm.
idol. They were still really excited that we have it back.
go. Yep.
And Bobby gave it to Peter to sleep in. But what was the point of Peter
Oh,
sleeping
what-
in?
Because
No,
we
he-
learned that it
No.
was bad luck, right?
Yeah, this is where David came in and talked to them
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, he told them on the beach.
He told them on the
David's
beach it was
the local.
taboo.
Yeah,
Right.
that's so we know it's called a taboo now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's bad luck that gets on you. But he doesn't believe it. He says it's all
Yeah.
superstition.
Right.
So he's not
Because-
falling for it.
Because when they get it, and what is it? Peter has it going to bed. He's like, whatever, bad luck,
Bad luck
come my
and
way.
Get me.
Yeah. Well, you dance with the devil
You
or
do.
whatever they say.
Mhm.
That spider came at him and gets on his
did.
chest, and he
Mhm.
freaks
It's a
out.
spider.
Yeah,
Climbed
but
up
it's-
the dust ruffle.
But you're sleeping. You're like
No,
laying-
it was upsetting. Watching it climb
Yeah.
over his hand, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I would have woken up and immediately tried to burn the hotel to the ground.
Yes, yeah, I don't. It's
It
not
would have
cute anymore.
smacked. I would have flicked my hand, and it would have smacked against the wall so hard it would leave a stain
Mhm.
they'd
Oh, yeah.
never get out. Like
It would
I-
Wile E.
and then I would
Coyote
feel
through
bad.
the wall. It just
Sure.
It was not
ate
his
legs.
fault.
Right.
Sure.
But the sound he made
Oh,
was
so good.
so amazing.
yes. Did you
I mean,
capture
I
that?
played it at the
What?
top of the show.
was gonna say,
That's
what
what
was
I
that
played
sound?
at the top of the show
Oh, okay.
for my intro, but I'm going
Oh,
to play
yeah.
it again because
Yeah,
it's too
do
good
it.
not to. Because I heard it and I was like, no, this is getting captured.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like a human noise.
Right.
No.
I thought it was like
That
some
is-
balloon or something. I didn't know what
Yeah,
that
that's
was.
like a goose. I don't know what that is.
To be fair, if confronted with a tarantula on my chest in the middle of the night, I probably would make a similar noise.
Oh,
Very
yes,
true.
100%.
You just can't do it on command. It's only
Right.
tarantula based.
I was gonna
Mhm.
say that, like, it was a very natural response because I have woken up like having a nightmare or something, and you basically are just forcing air out of your throat, but you can't really make a sound, so you're just, some sort of horrifying noise. That is not far off from like a real life event. So I was super excited about that. It was hilarious. The boys get up, his brothers get up, and they're like,
Mhm.
"We're gonna help," you know. And they end up flicking it off of his chest with a shoe.
Yeah, because first they're gonna hit him with a shoe,
Right.
It's like, not
It's like, wait,
on
not
me.
on me.
Yes.
which I agree.
Yeah, bad
Mhm.
move.
So they like flick it off onto the floor, and then everybody
Mhm.
flips out.
Yeah, and then Mike comes in. He's like, "Could you keep
Right.
it to a dull roar?" I'd be like, "You kids are gonna get us kicked out of this hotel. Shut up." But he was better than me. So he comes in and he's all like, "Dad, man, oh yeah, that's a spider. Get me a sack to put it in." And
Well, first he's gonna kill it,
oh yeah, he was gonna
and
hit
then
it with
they're
the
like,
shoe.
Right,
no, no, no,
yeah.
no, which I
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Can't have the standards and practices upset that we heard
Right.
an animal on TV. So yeah, and he says to give me a sack, which I thought was interesting because I've never used the word sack a lot. Like usually you
No.
say bag.
Like Santa Claus has a sack, and that's
Right.
No,
about
no,
it.
that's a very like old school term.
Is that
Yeah.
an old school? Like he
Paper
grew
sack,
up
yeah.
carrying corn.
I mean,
you
sack
know?
lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I worked in a grocery store and I worked also at a convenience store, and that was the old guys would always come in saying, "Can I get a sack for that?"
Oh, okay. There's this. Okay,
Yeah.
we're just in old timey land now.
Right.
Yep.
So he gets
Yeah.
a sack, which is basically I don't know, a bag of candy. Is what it looked like to me. Like
Yeah,
one
it
of
looked
those
like
little
from like the
treat
gift shop or
bags.
whatever.
Yeah,
Gift
yeah,
shop
it was from the gift
downstairs.
shop because it was
Because-
because this is after Carol's conversation with
Yes.
Mike.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking
About-
about wanting something from the gift shop.
Right. The coral thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, Mike, you need to buy the coral thing. You're in Hawaii. Just get your
Yes.
wife the thing.
Mhm.
Just do it. But he didn't do it yet. But he's got a little bag, put spider in it, and he's carrying it out. And he says that Carol would, if for a ladybug, would lose her mind. So he doesn't want
Right.
her to see it. He walks out and she catches him, which I would thought everyone was in bed. But no, she's still up, like ready to go out on the town from the looks of it. But he's got a little bag. She's like, "Oh, you got me the gift." And they have a little back and forth over it's not a
He's
gift.
like,
son.
"No."
No, you don't want
No.
this. And he gives it to her, and she opens it
No,
And
she takes it.
she
I
takes
think.
it
Right.
Right.
She makes it.
because she thinks it's her gift from the gift shop.
Right.
And she opens it and looks in, and from
It's
the
very calm.
yes, because the way he
Yeah.
explained it, I expected her to just "Bah!" and like throw the
Yeah.
bag,
Yeah.
Right?
which would have made
Yeah.
more sense to me and worked better.
Yeah.
Because it was so muted. She's like, "Ooh." He just gives it back to him. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that wasn't as funny as it could have been if you'd done
Right.
what he said you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Missed opportunity.
Missed
right
opportunity for comedy right there. That was just the director not making some. You got to work for this. We got to do it. We got to do the real
Mhm,
scream, the real throw, because it doesn't make sense with the two scenes. But that's fine. That's fine. It just could have been something else. I know if I had opened that bag, I would
I'd have
have
dropped
screamed.
it real quick.
I would have thrown
Mhm.
it across the room. It would have been.
I was gonna say it's concealed in the bag. This would contain the menace. That spider.
Yeah. We'll put the shoe on the spider now, where I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, he's in the bed. They get the boys find out. The boys are now thinking that this thing is a problem. Like the bad luck might
Yeah,
be real.
They're convinced now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they go see David.
David.
About
David.
about the taboo, and they really want to find out because
Mhm.
he's like, "You guys think this is superstition? This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
Like
David
no one believes
says
it.
the most 70s line ever right here. He's like, you guys don't believe that jazz, do you?
That jazz, love it. But they kind of do. So he tells him to go to the old sage guy. What was his name? Hile?
Highlight.
Hile? old Mr. Halle.
Hanalei.
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 Yeah, and they go to him, and this is definitely one of those, like, did he have to speak in broken English? Or is this like were they trying to do the old sage man kind of deal?
I kind of
Yeah.
like. I
Yeah.
wrote it out as it's very tropey, stereotypy,
Yes, it
but
felt that way.
also it kind of works. It kind of fits the era and what they were doing.
Yeah, sure.
So, I'm of two minds on it.
Yeah, I'm always a little skeptical when it comes to like this kind
I am
of
too.
stereotypical broken English move. I'm like,
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
adds an air of mystery, but is it also just does it not make any sense? Something like not everybody would. It's anyway. It doesn't really matter. But they get the info on the thing, the taboo, and apparently the taboo, once you've touched it, the bad luck doesn't come off. It sticks to you. You can't lose
Right.
it. You can't put it away. You can't sell it. It's always going to be with you. The only way to remove the curse, as he says, is to take it back to the first king's burial ground and put it back where it came from. And he tells the kids, you can't go there. You know, my dad always told me the story, and he said, you never go there. So I never went there, but I know how to get there. I'm like, okay, great. So they
Great.
get him to tell him.
And then he starts drawing it in the sand.
Yeah, you draw it in the sand. This is the map of the island you've never been to and have no understanding of your geography of because you're a tourist. But yeah, so you go out, ride the bus. You take the number 9 bus 3 blocks into the woods. You take a left. Effectively, what they do, they get off the bus because now we got Bobby, Peter, and Greg together. They've told the girls that they're going to do this and that their job is to tell mom they went sightseeing.
Right.
And
Which
I mean,
they could have easily just told mom and dad they went sightseeing and not involve the girls at all.
Right.
But we need a way for Mike and Carol to figure out that they are actually off doing something they're not supposed to.
yes. And
Even
it's-
in the episode, it's not entirely a lie either, anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they are sightseeing. They're just sightseeing in dangerous places.
With a purpose.
They were told not to go. Yeah. So they ride this bus in their finest fine clothes. I think Bobby still has that weird hat on that he's had this whole time because he's a kid, and the little boys always wear hats. That's how it works.
You got to.
You have to. And they
Yeah.
go out into the woods of Hawaii by themselves with no idea where they're going other than
Perfectly safe.
Yeah, it's perfectly safe. It's fine. Bobby's got his popcorn. We've got food. No water to be seen, but it's fine.
No.
I panic. I can't leave my house for a walk without taking a water bottle just in case. Like, I might get thirsty out there. Which my wife makes fun of me about. She's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, have you ever been thirsty? I have, and I don't want to be. Ever. My military buddy was like, I'm like you. I won't leave the house without. I'm like, see? He knows. He knows what's
I'd be
happening.
like, have you ever been thirsty? I haven't. And I don't intend to start now.
That's even better. I'm not that smart and quick. But yeah, they go out into the woods and they kind of get turned around and lost a little bit because woods all look the same once you've been in them long enough, especially when it's not a main trail.
Yep.
Right.
I love how they're like halfway through the woods when Greg decides to say, hey, let's use the popcorn and make a.
Because
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
know,
why does he
eat a
have
trail.
popcorn? Why is this child eating popcorn? And then I went, oh,
Yeah.
we're
We're
going to
gonna Hansel and Gretel.
it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna do it. But I don't know if you've ever been in the woods, but if you walk in the woods and you turn around, you might as well be on a different planet. Because
Yeah.
you have no idea where you came from. It's so easy to get lost out there. You turn around, you're like, oh yeah, I know where we were. No, you're now in the mirror dimension, and you don't have a
Yep.
clue what turns to take or where you did it.
And then let's leave something easily edible to any creature that comes along
Yeah.
Yes.
as our trail.
Right.
Famously, there's no birds in Hawaii.
No, they would eat
Famously.
popcorn. They don't eat
Yeah.
popcorn. That's ridiculous.
It's even. Oh no, it's not this episode. Never mind.
But they go on this trip. This is where they kind of get to the lagoon. They find that they're in the place with the burial areas, cave and some stuff. And the Gilligan's Island set in the background. But the mom and dad are starting to get worried. It's starting to get late, and there's a dangerous cave. So of course they'll wander into it. Hawaii is known for its 6 foot 6.5 foot ceiling caves that you can just wander deep into.
Sure.
Most caves are holes in the ground. You
Yeah.
get jammed up in. But for
Mhm.
TV, caves are giant places,
With,
sprawling
you
tunnel
know,
systems.
lit torches already and everything. They're good.
Yeah, well, they saw the light in there. That was the thing. They were like, somebody's been here before. Let's go explore in there. So they drop clumps of popcorn and they wander in, um, and looking for that first king's tomb. And we get the back of a famous man that I was not
Mhm.
expecting, who is sneaking
Right?
around behind them. And I was like, wait, who the devil is that? I don't know. I didn't know who
Oh
was
no,
going to
I
be in this.
knew. I knew.
Oh,
that
I
one.
knew you knew. After I knew who it was, I was like, Amy knew before I did.
I knew who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we saw his face, I was like,
Yeah. So we go into the cave, and there's like a cave system, and they're trying to find the first king's place so they can put this taboo back. And following them is the face of the legend himself, Vincent Price, who is creeping around on them, being great, because he's great. And I was excited, and I should have watched the second episode, but I
I
ran out
really
of
wanted to,
time.
and then I ran out of
same.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Oh,
Because I was like,
procrastinated.
Am I the only one that did? Because I
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely
you are.
watched episode 3.
yeah, it's just you.
I was like, oh no, I am not missing Vincent Price at all. And I watched it.
Ugh.
Because you mentioned like there's no birds in the popcorn. And that's a line that Mike has when him and Carol end up walking around in there. And she's like, oh, this popcorn could have been here for days. He's like, no, there's too many birds around here.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah. All right.
So
So
he
that's how
actually
we
does
know.
make that comment.
Okay.
And no, Vincent Price is fantastic in the episode.
He's
so
good
great
in
because
everything.
he is absolutely mad. Like his character is a professor who basically he's a professor who was at a site with another professor. They split up and that guy found something and claimed it and he went nuts. And now he's just here talking to an idol inside of this cave, named it
Sure.
Oliver. And he talks to Oliver all the time about making his own discovery. And at one point, like he's hugging the statue and talking to it, and Mike is seeing him and like looking at him like the cheese has slipped off this guy's cracker.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's so
Oh,
It
good.
that's
just makes
so
me think
good.
of Tom Hanks and Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
There is one point where the kids are talking about how they've learned that it's bad luck and they want to get rid of it. And Carol becomes the worst tourist in the world and is like, no, that's ridiculous. All your friends are gonna love to see it. You just let's bring that home. You're gonna want to bring that home. And I'm like, or hear me out. Don't return it to the people to
Don't
whom
do
it
that.
belongs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is my new Indiana Jones franchise, by the way, is they do heists to steal relics out of museums in order to return them to where they belong.
I
It's
love
a
it.
Henry Cavill Reese Darby joint.
Ooh.
I've got a whole
Oh,
thing.
I would watch that in a minute.
Yeah.
That was
In.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when they're sneaking
all
into the
in.
museum, do they have to dodge boulder traps and stuff, or is it
Unlikely,
entrapment?
maybe lasers.
Yeah, I
I'll
wanna
give you
see
maybe
Henry.
lasers
I
because
need, I need Henry Cavill doing the Catherine Zeta-Jones laser dodge.
Yeah,
Whatever.
there
Reese
might
Darby's
be some,
gonna-
like-
Reese Darby's going to talk about all that, and then Cal's going to be like, "No, I work here." Click.
yeah. There's going to be
Even
some
better.
seduction of workers. It's going to be great. I've got
Yeah.
a whole plan.
Oh man.
However, if we can have Henry Cavill do the Vincent Castle dance from the
Oh,
end of
yes.
Ocean's
Yes.
12,
yes,
Mm,
I'm
that
all
was
for
good.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
He
mesmerizing.
has a child to feed. He's got to work.
I don't love Ocean's 12. I love Ocean's 12. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. It's my third favorite of the trilogy. But
Yeah.
that
Sure.
Vincent Castle laser dodge sequence
So good.
is in top tier scenes of the entire series for me.
It is an amazing sequence, and it is also an amazing song.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, 100%. I'm all about it. But yeah, man, that takes us to the end of the middle episode of this trilogy of the Brady Bunch goes to Hawaii. So you can definitely keep up and watch another episode, watch the episode 3, and see how this all plays out. If you want to see Vincent Price doing his
And
thing,
you should.
And you should.
You absolutely should. As somebody who has watched it today, I can tell you it's worth watching. It's great.
We have all the Vincent Price work we're ever going to get. So just enjoy it when it surprises you like this, right? Is what
Mhm.
I'm saying. Just lean
Yeah,
in.
absolutely.
But yeah, that's the Brady Bunch. What do we all think, Audie?
I mean, yeah, it was the Brady Bunch. It was fun to watch it. I still, like I said at the beginning, I still having the movie in my head. I was watching it through that lens. It was like, yeah, they had so much fodder for that movie. Good lord,
Oh yeah.
to make fun
Oh
of the
yeah.
Brady Bunch. So I could see where that comes from. But
Mhm.
I was like, in my head, I was like, why aren't we doing? Oh wait, this is the actual TV show.
Yeah, this is
We're
the
not
one.
having that kind of fun.
Yeah, this isn't a satire. This is
Mhm.
the source
This
material.
is how it actually went.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis, how about you?
Honestly, my feelings on the Brady Bunch are the same as before I watched this episode, which is I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Mhm.
I would watch it again for sure, but I'm not going to seek it out. But this was fun.
Yeah.
So,
Amy.
I'm gonna be real. It was less culturally insensitive than I was expecting it to be. Like as soon as I'm like, oh, good, they
Excellent.
found an idol. I'm sure this will be fine. It actually was not. I feel like the Full House is maybe worse. So
yeah, my memory of this episode was it was much more stereotyped and culturally insensitive than it really
maybe
was. Like even Hanalei, as
yeah.
stereotypical as he isn't
Mhm.
really that bad.
Yeah.
No.
And then you've
He's-
got, David the local talking about the superstitions, be like, they're just superstitions. It's not a
Yeah,
big deal. It's
Don't
like,
even worry
okay.
about it.
Yeah, like
It's
not
that young
everybody
guard,
on the
old
island.
guard thing. you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's much more like away from. He's still native Hawaiian, but he's not like they don't stereotype him into this weird
Right.
space.
Well, and I think
Exactly.
that's important too, right? Because
Yeah.
then it's not like the stereotype, like the superstitious natives.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean? You just
right.
have the one old guy who knows a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
Exactly.
that's pretty good.
That's pretty
Right.
good
Yeah.
for
Im-
this. Yeah.
Impressive for TV. And the fact that we all thought it was going to be that way.
I was so scared.
Like we're
guys.
conditioned for television to be that bad.
We
and this
just
is
had to
not.
deal with White Boy on the beach, and that was
Mhm.
It is. You know what though?
Bad
It's something I have noticed watching older television for this show or older movies for some other podcasts that I do. Is we think of them as being a lot worse than they often are. Like
Yeah.
there are bad examples for sure.
I
But then
feel like
there's
the
other times where like,
90s are honestly like
Yeah.
peak
way worse.
bad.
Probably, yeah.
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 But it's just interesting to go back and see stuff from like the 60s and 50s and realize, or pre-code, pre-Hays
Oh
Code
yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
and like how progressive some of that stuff really was.
Mhm.
So I was both not prepared for and genuinely loved how this episode was.
Yeah.
There's
And
no-
I think too, there's a degree of watching something when it's in that you're in the headspace of the '60s. It doesn't stand out as bad. Like if some things or stuff like that we have seen were done in an HD brand new television show, we might be a lot more bothered by it with people
Yeah,
that we
for
know
sure.
Yeah. Oh,
who
for
know
sure.
better.
Mhm.
Versus what we see of like we're just used to Grandpa being a little bit off color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise us as much. So when they do even a little better, we're like, well done.
Yeah.
Good job. But in general, man, I loved watching this. I had a great time. It's definitely like you said, it's not a show I want to sneak out and I want to go seek out and watch. Like I'm not gonna go, boy, I can't wait to see what happens next on the Brady Bunch. But if we were in the channel flip territory, and I need to share it in the show notes, but somebody posted in our Discord at twodorks.net/Discord a mod to build your own like cable box using
Ooh.
Plex and some other tools.
saw
Where
that.
you could, yeah, it's super neat. So you could basically flip channels, and it had its own TV guide, and like certain stuff would come up depending on the time, and it was set up to like networks and late night shows were different than the things that were on in the daytime, and commercials were mixed in. Really clever
Wild.
tool. Yeah, I mean it takes some technical prowess and access to a lot of content that you would need to find.
I
But-
like that we've had to rebuild it. Like
Right. But there's a magic to it, right? That's why we
Oh,
do this
for
show.
sure.
Is we remember sitting and watching this and seeing the commercials and stuff like that. That that we had to watch it because it was what was on, and it directed the culture, and it gave us something to talk about on Tuesday because we were all in it together at the same time, laughing at the same commercials together. It brought TV brought the world together in ways that it might not have if you were all, didn't have that kind of connection. It's really cool stuff. Lots of big thoughts on that anyway. But yeah, love the show. Had a great time. If you love the show, dear listener, you can send us email at thosewerethedayshow@gmail.com. Did we get any emails, Steven? Oh, hold on. I know I checked that a minute ago.
We did not. I just looked.
Oh, yeah. Travis backing me up. All right. Yeah, we didn't get an email, but we want it over at thosewerethedayshow@gmail.com. We also want your feedback on the Blue Sky at thosedayshow.bsky.social over there. And we also have our voicecast at voicecast.app/thosedayshow? ?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Audie, did we get any feedback on the Blue Sky? You usually are the
we did not.
No one talking about the Brady Bunch. Well, it's not too late because if you're listening
This
to this
is
now,
why they never got into the top 30.
That's right.
This is what I'm talking about.
Participation.
Nobody.
Where are our Nielsen families at? Get on it. We need the info. So next week is going to be a little bit different. Quick production note: is next week our last episode before we take a little bit of a seasonal break?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, do we have a treat for you, fair audience? Because next week we are going to do the commercial episode. Yes, we have talked about it. We have discussed it. We have a plan. We have the makings of a plan for how to do a commercial.
We have Google Drive. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
We have
exactly.
YouTube. It'll be fine.
Yeah, this one's long in the making. We've talked about doing a show about commercials since our first year doing this show, and I'm super excited about it. All of us are going to bring commercials we remember that we can find on the YouTube, and we're going to share them with you, talk about them, kind of what they mean to us, and just have a fun time doing some old school classic TV commercials. I think it's going to be a great time. It'll be if you're able to be here, it'll be fun and interactive because I know you remember some of these jingles and bits and all kinds of stuff. Yep. It's going to be a good time. And then the show will be taking a brief hiatus to give us all some time to recharge over the summer. We've been doing this pretty much nonstop for 3 years now, almost.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's been a while.
For
So
a
we're going
while,
to take a minute to give ourselves a break and enjoy some family time and some time doing whatever we need to over the summer. And then we will come back stronger than ever to talk about more classic TV. So in the meantime,
do you have a favorite nostalgic commercial or series of commercials?
Yeah.
Because I would love to know what people remember as commercials from like pre-2000. I've got a bunch that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm going to be looking for and ready to talk about next week. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, there's going to be just
I'm going to
endless
hijack
stories.
and do a quick plug.
Yes, please.
Because
Absolutely.
we might be going on hiatus, but Equilo Season 8 starts this Thursday, the 20-something, 6th. Season 8, Episode 1, this Thursday. So find it wherever you get your podcasts or at aquillow.com. ACHEWILLOW.
You should. It's a really great show. And Amy narrates the whole
Thank
thing,
you.
and it's
Thank you.
wonderful.
It is.
Yes, and written by JF Dubois, who is also
Yes.
great and a wonderful friend of the program.
Yep.
So yeah, get on that. While you're not listening to us, listen to Amy. And with that, I think that'll do it for us. So back from Hawaii. When I don't know how to end this.
There's no way.
There's
It's
no way.
over.
We are returning the taboo, and you should too. We'll see you next time here on Those Were the Days.
Bye-bye.
Bye.